Welcome to Listening to Paint Dry with Mike and Dan, a podcast about the art and hobby of miniature painting. I'm Dan.
And I'm Mike. Thank you so much for joining us on our delayed but continued journeys to become better, braver, happier painters.
Well, everybody, this is it. Mike and I are splitting up.
Wait, what?
Well, it's that time of year. Nova Open happens and ReaperCon happens. And you decided that you wanted to go to ReaperCon this year, and I'm working at Nova Open, so we got to split up.
That is true. That is very true. Yeah, this year I decided to go back to ReaperCon. It was so much fun last year that I couldn't stay away. I tried to get you to come with me too, but
Well, I'm just glutton for punishment, Mike. So I guess this year again, I will be taking the helm of the Capital Palette at the Nova Open over our long Labor Day weekend here in Washington, D.C. I just enjoy it. I have a lot of fun. There's some really cool artists I get to hang out with. I get to see new emerging artists. I get to see all of our masters come in. I kind of dig it. It's a really niche kind of community that we have, and if I can be just that little teeny weeny part of it, I will definitely try to take advantage of that.
it's got to be awesome to see all the entries coming in. You get like kind of a firsthand view of them all.
Yeah, we get to hold them. We get to look at them closer than we can with photographs. We get to move them around a lot. We get to talk to the artists. People ask us for opinions and short critiques and advice and things. It's a blast. You've seen it. Hopefully next year we'll see how things go, and maybe you'll be back behind the counter with me, and we'll take this to new heights, and we can have a lot of fun with it. So we're not changing anything from previous years. I think it's been kind of smooth. We've had a 2-year hiccup, so there's no need to start making giant changes or anything. So we'll go back where people are kind of comfortable. Hopefully there's a little bit of enhancements to the show, and maybe next year or a couple years afterwards, we can make some drastic fun changes to shake things up, but probably not. But I hope I have you there by my side, and if not, we'll be skipping hand in hand at ReaperCon.
Well, most likely I will be at the Nova Open next year because my wife's girlfriend trip is planned for that weekend.
Your wife has a girlfriend?
Well, she has 2.
Ah, shit, man, you're lucky.
No, I don't get to go with them.
Oh, sucker.
Yeah, she has 2 friends that she's had since high school, and they get together. We're now in 3 different parts of the country, and so they get together every year to go do a trip, and next year it's going to be over Labor Day weekend.
Huh, that's really funny because my wife has her 3 high school friends and actually I think one she went to elementary, and the other 2 I think one was in high school, middle school, elementary, so they have all 3 levels. And they've all been friends for, I don't know, 1,000 years. And
Right.
So every summer they go out and they go somewhere. So usually they explore like a small town or something. My wife's an artist, so she likes going to like those kind of artsy places and towns that have lots of art stores and shops and little places like that. And they hang out for about 3 or 4 days, and then they get to fill of each other, and then they say goodbye, and they'll see each other in another year. So most of it's on the East Coast where they just drive around for a while and find cool places. So it's kind of neat. I give her that. That's something I wish I had, or actually I kind of do when I go to these conventions. I just haven't found a convention that I go to all the time. Like some folks that go to.
Well, it's kind of ironic for me because last year my wife went to St. Louis with her friends. And that weekend I interviewed Chris Surhey for the first time, who lives in St. Louis.
Oh.
So it was pretty funny. It was kind of like, hey, my wife's exploring your town right now. Yeah. It's pretty cool. I wish I still had people that I was in touch with in high school. Don't have a lot, I still see them on Facebook and stuff like that, but I don't really reach out or go to see them, I'd say happy birthday on Facebook and things along those
Yeah,
lines.
I
But
understand. Well, our new friends or our friends now are usually the folks that
Mhm.
have the same interests we have, and it's usually
Exactly.
miniature painting and gaming
Yeah, that's true.
and
That's
old
very
tech.
true. So
So
yeah, hey
why
man, it's been a while.
it has? Let's play some catch up.
Okay.
I don't even know when the last time that we've actually had the show. We have we've talked a number of times and we've chatted a lot and we've met each other a couple times and went on some nice long pointless road trips. So, so other than that, our very small audience of I don't even know how many people we have anymore. Probably lost a couple too. So
Right.
I think we're probably at like 7 listeners. So we'll still
Mhm.
get that number. Um, what have we been doing since I don't know last show? Whenever our last like together show was, I know we've been doing some interviews and things. Or
Yeah,
have we
we've had
been?
some interviews pop up. We have another interview that's out before this episode, with Eric Swinson and Stephen Garcia, and they talk about their World Model Expo um, adventures, and they both just go USA, man. They went over and killed it. Eric got 2 golds in Masters, and Stephen got a gold and a silver in Masters. They're just some major talented people, and the even better part is they're great guys. They're really a lot of fun to talk to, and they really are definitely lovers of the hobby for sure. But
Yeah.
so if you haven't checked that one out already, that is the episode that is right before this one when it comes out. Um, Dan, it is 1 week today from when I'm going to be in Texas for ReaperCon, and it's freaking me out. I got a lot of stuff still left to do.
I bet. I bet. So before we get to like all the junk and stuff you got to do, um, what have you been up to? What have you been doing, hobby wise?
Hobby wise, it's really just kind of been focused on my entries for ReaperCon. I knocked out a Blood Bowl commission that was dragging me down. 28 miniatures. I got rid of that a couple months ago, and I've really just been focused on my entries for ReaperCon and getting ready now. Here's um,
Yeah, give me the lowdown. What kind of stuff are you going to be showing off?
okay. So I originally was hoping for 5 entries, but 4 entries is what's going to happen. The first entry is the Hurricane Rocket Bike. Um, it's for the Ordnance Division at ReaperCon. But it's by Bombshell Minis, and Bombshell Minis has little dog tag awards that they give out to paint jobs. So I wanted to do some. I had never done like a manufacturer contest before, so I wanted to give that a try. And I actually am really surprised. I'm a little embarrassed at how fast that I got that done. That was 3 days, maybe 13, 14 hours. Um,
Really? That's it?
yeah,
Wow.
it really just all came together really fast. I was
Cool.
like,
Well, you'll show some pictures online. I think it's pretty neat, and I like some of the terrain that you're using for it.
oh, thank you. Yep.
So that's it's a neat piece, and I like Bombshells minis for a long time. They have such cool stuff.
The
Um,
one thing I will say, and there's been a couple of the people that I've talked to as well. The There were some rough mold slips with it. I don't know. I didn't. There was one left that I couldn't quite fix. I hope I covered it with weathering. But yeah, there was some that was a tough mini to prep. I think I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and buy another one at ReaperCon because they have a huge store.
I
And
know they got the
give it a
freaking
shot.
retro rockets and stuff. Those things are freaking awesome.
Yeah, they are there, and they've released like 4 more bikes too
Oh, they
that are
did.
pretty cool. Yeah, they just released 4 more bikes right before ReaperCon, so that's pretty cool. The second mini is something I started as a non-metallic bronze copper slash not sure where it was going experiment. It's a little Reaper steampunk aquanaut elf character thing, and I'll post pictures of it. It's hard to describe. I just started. I wanted to try practicing a quick non-metallic metal, and wound up working on it for a while, probably for a couple of weeks, and then I put it down for well before I finished the commission for the Blood Bowl. And then I went back to it and I realized that I was almost done with it. And so I was like, oh, I'm just going to finish this and bring that as a painter's entry for ReaperCon. I couldn't decide on a background. I had all these visions and things weren't working out. So I just kind of spaghettied it. I just kind of threw some shit on the base and went, oh, okay, this looks okay. um, the third entry is the one that's near and dear to my heart because it's a 75 millimeter version of Quicksilver with Tallyhawk. That is the last Instagram post we have is a work in progress picture of that. It is by far the boldest paint job I've ever tried because it is about 98% non-metallic metal. It's also Tallyhawk is so fragile. Just so fragile. And it's funny because I had the guy print he originally printed me 2 Tallyhawks, one of which was perfect, but I broke the legs and couldn't find them. The second one he had printed, the legs weren't right and the head was weird. And so I asked him to print 2 more, and neither of those prints were as good as the first, but the legs worked. And so I accidentally broke off one of the other, broke the legs off of the other one, and it stuck. They were stuck on Quicksilver's hand, and the original first Tallyhawk fit perfectly on it. So I'm like, yes, sometimes you get a win with this stuff. And so basically, the Quicksilver is non-metallic metal. And he's standing on an asteroid that's floating in space. I'm at the point with the piece that it is probably 90% done. Most of all the blends, there's a couple of places that I need to do some blending out. The last bit of it is finishing the asteroid, which isn't going to be too hard because I'm going to use washes and weathering pigments. The hard part is going to be that I need to add some environmental lights. And so behind him is a magenta nebula, and in front of him is a blue nebula. And so I want to try to add some, because of the way he's positioned, you can see his back. So I want to add some environmental lights in that, in the back magenta, in the front blue. And that's kind of going to be the very last step of it. Probably all the blends I have left are on the back of Tallyhawk's wings. That's probably the last few blends that I have to smooth out. Well, that are going to get as smoothed out as much as I can smooth blend. And so we'll see, man. I mean, you've seen it. I've been looking at it so long that it's just, I don't know how, I can't even evaluate. It could be a total pile of garbage. It could be, I could be handing in a heaping pile of stank on an asteroid, you know? And it's funny because the number one thing people keep saying to me when they see it is that the background is gorgeous. And it's like one of the easiest things I've ever done. I painted a piece of plastic card black, took some titanium white paint, thinned it out, kind of painted the shape of the nebula, where I wanted colors, and then just used Reaper's clear magenta and clear phthalo blue on top of them. And to even out the finish, I sprayed it with lambing and medium, and I've varnished the hell out of it. And that literally the base, I did have to do it twice because I didn't like the first nebula, but I think all combined, the base took me 4 hours. And I was like, and people are like, I've gotten a lot of positive reactions to it. I'm like, damn, I gotta stop spending time on things. I'm making it worse.
Now that you bring up the background, it makes me wonder. We've had these conversations before about backgrounds, and I'm curious, like, how many we're going to get next week. How many people are going to actually have backgrounds, and I wonder also, like, is it going to be more of like the journeyman levels or masters? I don't really see any apprentices doing that because they're just concentrating on the figures themselves. So it'd be kind of interesting how that metric would go.
I think you're right. I think you're going to see increasingly. It's going to go upwards, right? You're
Oh,
going to.
I certainly believe since the last couple years,
Yeah.
even then we had what 3, 4, maybe 5 that had the backgrounds paint on it, but that was like totally foreign. But now we see it all the time.
Well,
You know,
you're going to see picture frames and shadow boxes.
oh gosh, I don't know how to even
Thanks,
category.
Roman
I don't.
LaPlot.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, thanks, Roman. Jeez. Thanks, Mike. Now I got to figure out. I'm gonna let somebody else figure that one out. I'll deal with that later.
If it's in a picture frame or a shadow box, it's a diorama.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. We'll have to do it that way.
I mean, I haven't even talked about my diorama, which is in a shadow box. I'm not talking about the specifics of it, because it's still
Yeah.
got, like, it's in pieces still. All the main part of the base is built, but all of the figures are still separate, and a big tree that's a part of the diorama is staring at me. I had to do a lot of
You only got a week,
double-top
man.
work on it.
You only got a week. You better get that done.
I'm actually, you know what? It's further along than it sounds, because a lot of, like, the non-main characters are in it are painted. I only have to paint the front of the characters.
Oh, damn! You're doing the old school GW stuff, man.
Well, no, because you're not going to be able to see the back of the character
That's true. That's true. That's true.
unless you pull them out of there, and then I'm going to be really offended if somebody decides to start picking apart, like
That's
literally
right.
pick apart my diorama.
I got one of those like dental tools. I'm gonna go and put the mirror back there and see if there's been painted.
Yeah. Oh no, but I actually asked the question on Crow's Nest, because Michael Proctor from Clever Crow Studio is one of the head judge, is the head judge for the for the Master Series Open, which is what they're painting.
Yeah, that's a different Dave.
And I said, are they allowed to use any form of, like, magnifying glass or tools? And he's like, no. Actually, it's strictly a no.
No,
And I'm
because it
like,
distorts. Yeah, it distorts a lot if you start using things like that. It's yeah.
well,
I know
right.
where
And,
you're going with
he
that.
and I have had this conversation before. Is like, really, what are you really supposed to look at a miniature that close?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Part of the paint job is smoke and mirrors, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, all miniature painting is smoke and mirrors, because you're using contrast to give the illusion of the shapes and sizes, etc. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, I mean, it makes sense. I haven't talked about my diorama yet, because I think it's somewhat of a unique idea. You know what it is.
Yeah.
But I will post pictures when after it has been entered. I will post pictures.
There you go.
Yeah. So, but the other side of ReaperCon is I'm doing something I've only done one time before. That's teaching classes.
Oh.
I'm teaching 5 classes, Dan.
5 classes? Oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
3 basing, 1 composition and building class, and then I am a TA for the airbrush class with Dev Sodegar.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
So, yeah, I'm teaching a jungle basing, ruins basing, and a desert basing class. Now, those are already all prepped, really. I'm in a little bit of a lurch. I ordered some more basing materials weeks ago, and they are sitting in California for the last week with a shipping label on them, but haven't moved. And so I'm hoping that those basing bits come. I do have others. I have enough for the class, I'm sure, but I felt like I just needed a few more bits and bobbles. And so I ordered about 50 more basing bits, which really, it sounds like a lot, but it's not. When you're doing a 45 millimeter bases, you're talking 5 or 6 pieces at least on each one. Then I have 16 students in each class. That just, it's a lot of basing bits, a lot of kibbles and bits. And then I'm teaching my this is my first full Lost in Translation class, where I'm doing the blind mini with the 2-inch block. It's going to be a challenge. It's an hour and a half long. Right now, I only have 13 students. I'm kind of hoping that I don't get any more. 13 is going to be a lot to handle by myself. The material is dense, and that's what really where a lot of my downtime is being spent, is trying to consolidate information, because I really only should speak for half an hour at the most. And then I need to get out to people to get that, you know what I mean? They got to work for an hour. And that's kind of the way the basing class is. I'm speaking for 20 minutes. We're going to, it's structured as pre-build, which has research, a little bit about composition. We go through the different types of basing, which, you know, for wargaming, it's grunts, and Dungeons and Dragons role playing would be non-player characters, and then you have character models, and then you have display pieces and competition. And so I talk about kind of the differences between those, and then we do photo, like a lot of not a lot, but we go through some reference material, and then we build, and then I have some kind of post-build conversations about colors and stuff like that set up. So, which that should only take 10 minutes, because that's like one slide that, you know, and that I could probably incorporate that post-build stuff into while they're building. And so it's going to be interesting too. I've never used one of those overhead cameras before.
Oh, cool.
And so that's going to be new to me as well.
So besides all that prep and doing your painting and stuff, what else has been going on in your life without going into like?
Dropped my oldest off of college. That was huge.
Hey, yeah, that's definitely a life moment.
Yep. And I've been helping a little bit. I missed the meeting because I was dropping them off in college, but you know, the National Capital Model Soldier Society show is October 1st, and so I've been helping. Jeez, I'm having yawning problems. The National Capital Model Soldier Society, which is a group that we're both a part of, has their show October 1st, and so I've been helping a little bit with the planning of that.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
And so I don't have any responsibility yet. Huh?
I'm trying to think if I have anything going on. I might actually be able to. Wait a minute. I don't know if I don't know.
I thought you said you were out of town that weekend.
October 1st. That's a new fiscal year. I'm sure there's like all kinds of stupid shit I got to do at work.
That's a Saturday.
They don't care.
I know they don't care. That's why I never got into contracting.
Yeah.
Because those people, the last 2 weeks of the fiscal year are hell. And then you get a day or two off, and then the first 2 weeks.
Hey, it's a new year. Guess what? Let's get all the new contracts ready. Mm-hmm. Yeah, not me. Not doing that.
Yeah, I'm not into that as well either. But yeah, that's kind of all that's really, bits and bops. Went on a couple of vacations this summer. Had a good time. Not really nothing. Nothing to bore people with. But what about you, man? What have you been up to?
Work has taken an awful lot of my time in the last year. It's I know I used to joke around about like, hey, you know what? It got busy, or it might get busy, but it has been just like crazy. I guess people just want to know about metrics a little bit more than I thought they did, but they're still playing stupid games. So I've been doing a lot of that. I'm usually too exhausted to do anything, and I've lost all of my mojo. My wife put it in the jar and hid it from me. So I have not painted since like probably before our last show. I just have not painted at all. I try. I sit at a table. I try. I have great ideas. I still love looking at everybody else's paint jobs for inspiration. But when I sit down, I'm just like, nah, I just can't do it. So I'm trying not to fight it right now. My wife was excited that I bought some resin and started to do some more printing. So I have some really interesting prints that I've been doing on my 3D printer. Obviously, they're all gray because I'm not painting them. But that's been kind of fun. That's to get out of the whole non-hobby rut. Let's see what else. I inherited or am permanently fostering a special needs dog. So that's been like having a 1 year old that knows how to walk and talk. And it's pretty not fun. But we still have a lot of stuff that we need to do with her for the next 3 to 4 months, taking care of her and all her health issues, and hopefully everything works out because she is a pretty cool dog. She's a lot of fun. Not much more different than any other dog that we've had. But yeah, we got her from family, which means that they probably just weren't capable of taking care of the dog anymore. So lots of stuff weighing on me. So I'm taking that out on my hobbies. I do every once in a while go and mix up my paints to make sure they don't get bad. So I do like to listen to the hub of my gigantic 500-pound Vornado test tube shaker, and I take that outside. So that's fun. But all in all, things aren't too bad. We've been doing lots of planning for the last couple months for the Nova Open. The folks, the executive board, and all the volunteers have been putting lots of hours in to make sure that this is going to be a fun time for everybody that comes up and visits us in Northern Virginia. So I've been putting a little bit of time into that also to make sure that we have a good show for everybody. Well, let's see what else. Let's see. Can't play my records because the dude who's got my record player won't ever open his damn store. I've been there three times, 3 freaking times, and the dude's not there.
I went with you once.
You went with me the first time. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah. So just imagine the other times for blowing my gasket for not getting this stuff.
Yeah, that was a traffic.
We
was
did
so
go
bad.
actually in April. It was in April where you and I took a side trip. We wanted a side mission. I don't think we talked about that, but I don't think we need to talk about it. But yeah, we were out near Virginia Beach area and ran into a gentleman who has a beautifully decorated house, but he was audiophile also, so I got to see some really cool speakers, a Grail receiver set, awesome turntable. I wish I was able to go through the back rooms of all of his records. But yeah, that was a nice little side trip. I need to contact him again. I need to go visit him, and I promised him a beer, so I need to have a beer with him.
It's funny. I'm thinking about it. I don't think we've done a show together.
We haven't
since before Banshee's class.
I don't think we have, Mike.
Yeah,
I don't
and
even
that was back in April. We haven't even really talked about that class.
Oh, we didn't even talk about Banshee's class?
Mm.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, we suck. Let's see.
Yeah, you kind of, no offense, but you kind of went in a hole for like 2 months.
I'm still in that hole.
Well, you're just a little more communicative now.
Yeah, I needed to depart the real world for a while because shit was getting real deep. Real fucking deep. Yeah, that was a cool class. It was 2 fun days. We got to paint. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know which
Barbarian.
one you got. I got the Barbarian with the helmet. Did I do helmet? Yeah, I did helmet with the axe. I think I have an axe. I can't remember. Yeah, but we got to experiment with like backgrounds and like atmosphere and stuff, and that was really cool. That was and the other day I was like, I gotta figure out how to do this, and then I was looking through my my display case. I was like, holy shit, I actually had a 2-day class on how to do this. Why do I not remember it? Yeah, that was but now I do remember. Always cool folks that we get to meet up with when we go to these all these classes and learn some really good stuff, and it comes up, just don't feel like painting it. So hopefully Mike is able to put some of that to use. I think we're going to run into a lot of, or I will run into a lot of the folks that were there because Mike is going out to FN Texas. So I hope to see them, and hopefully they are able to use some of those techniques that they used in Banshee's class to showcase some of their figures and put them in my big old display case.
Yeah, and it was back in April, and I'm working on unpacking information from that class.
I just stored it in a locker and threw it in the ocean.
Oh, I've been trying to work with it a little bit. Here's the funny thing, and this is nothing to do with like the teachers, but I feel like every time I come back from a class like that, I regress a little bit at first.
We do,
You
and
know what I mean?
I think we've talked about that, and I think no, when I can say everybody, when I say everybody, I mean like us normal
Hmm.
humans run into that where
Yeah.
it's just sensory overload, drinking everything through a fire hose,
Yeah.
and it takes a while to decompress it and to unpack it all and say, oh, okay, now I see where
Hmm.
they're going. And it goes back to practice. If you're not practicing and picking up a brush, you're not you're not reinforcing what you learned. So I
Hmm.
guess I'm gonna have to call Banshee and tell him to come back to the States and reteach me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But so on the other kind of opposite side, so we've been really negligent in producing episodes, and um, you're on that side where you kind of were hobby break time period, right? You were a break from the hobby. I kind of was in the other side. Like I haven't really produced a lot of content solo because I would say for the last 3 months I've probably been painting uh, between 3 to 6 hours a day. Um, and no offense to our listeners, but I kind of felt like at that time the priority for me had to be painting, and I had to ride the wave. And so, but we're back on track now. We're gonna have episodes from ReaperCon. Um, I have no idea where my pieces this year will be in terms of what the other competition is. I feel like this is the first time I've gone into a painting contest that my pieces are all better than last year's. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Hmm.
um, I hope that doesn't come to bite me in the ass and I do worse than I did. Because last year I had a very good showing. I had 2 gold medals and a silver Sophie, which is
Hmm.
kind of their version of the Golden Demon. Um, I don't think I'm going to win a Sophie this year. Um, I don't. I'm not sure any. Like I think I'm only going to have one piece eligible, anyways, and it's going to be competing against Quicksilver for a medal. So I don't know. You know, I have no. I actually have no expectations. One day I love the work I've done. The next day I want to throw it all in the trash. And sometimes that happens all in the same day.
Yeah. I think a lot of us go through that. Just don't go in with expectations unless you're at that level. It's just like, hey, if it's really
Mhm.
just part of the hobby and and showcasing what you're doing, then that's cool. Um, I know that some of us can be fairly competitive in all kinds of things that we do in life, but if you're not, just do it for the experience, do it for the fun of it.
Mhm. Well, and it's hard to resolve the um, I don't compete to lose. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
I don't enter a competition and go, here I go, I'm putting this in to lose. Um, but I also know that I'm going to get some amazing feedback because I have wonderful judges. And Bryce Kokenauer is there as well. I always forget. He's another Best in Show winner there, and he's a multi-demon winner, who is a guest on our show as well. You know, and so it's yeah, my expectations are to represent myself in the best way possible. And if one moment I feel like hell yeah, I'm bringing it this year. You know what I mean? Like I put everything best foot forward. Like I painted hard, painted smart, creatively. And then the next moment I'm totally insecure. But I think it's going to go okay. I think I'll at least walk away with, uh, commended entry.
there you go.
If I'm lucky. I know if I was going to the Nova Open, I would just add to my collection of pins.
That's what I'm going for. I'm just getting a bunch of stuff that I painted last year,
Mhm.
putting, putting them in to get my numbers up a little bit. And I haven't had a whole lot of people look at my stuff, so I'll just put it out there, see what I get. It's probably just gonna be a bunch of BattleTech mechs.
Okay, who cares, man? That'll be
So,
fun. Like I said,
what?
I'm gonna buy a vest and just put all the pins on it. Like that's my whole job. Don't no metal, please. Can I get a pin, please? Because I didn't realize how many Nova pins I had.
Really?
Yeah.
I have one, and I painted my ass off for that one.
But that was years and years ago, though.
That was my first. That was the first one. Yeah, I ever entered.
That was your first entry.
Yeah, and it went downhill from there.
Well, you haven't entered anything since then.
That's right. Yeah, I got to do that too.
Yeah, and you gotta. I mean,
it's
right. What is
first
that?
I have to paint, and then I have to. Okay, yeah. I have a couple half-finished things, but I don't think those count.
What is the joke? A guy goes every day, prays to God. God, I need to win the lottery. Please help me. He doesn't win the lottery. Does this like 4 or 5 times. Doesn't win the lottery. Then one day he's walking across the street and gets hit by a bus and dies. And he goes to pearly gates and says, God, I really needed you. Where were you? Like, why didn't you help me win the lottery? He's like, well, dude, you got to meet me halfway. You got to buy a ticket. Yeah. You got to buy your ticket. You got to put your models in. You're a great painter, Dan.
I don't know about great. That one little pen says so. But hey, that's all right. I'm gonna put a couple things in.
Good.
I had last year. I still have my plans for my 2 dioramas. And maybe next year. Maybe I'll have them done for next year. I've only been working on one for 5 years. So
if you don't finish the damn Dance in Space Marine, I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah.
That's
at some point.
Beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. You got to finish it.
I will. Someday I will. Well, no, you saw the ones of the guys in the hot tub, so I gotta Space Marines in a hot tub. I don't know. I gotta get a print of that one.
I think it is an STL.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. Someday.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. I mean, I had a good belly laugh when I saw that one. Yeah. And it's got beer cans all around it and stuff like that.
Whoever the sculptor is, and I should find out who they were. Did a really good job. It came out really good, and it's just a clever piece.
Yeah, very clever. And I wonder if it's one of the ones that's going to be pulled. Games Workshop went after cults, right?
Yeah, I think so. Or they're going after everybody or something like that.
Yeah, they're really trying to crack down on the STL file things, but they're gonna lose anywhere that people aren't charging for it. Because you write it up as fan art and boom, it's going to be a lot harder to win that. Though, and where people are selling it, they'll have a much greater chance of defending their IP. But
that's a whole can of worms there. So
it really is. Yeah, honestly, that's got to be a show. We've talked about that show. That's a show we're going to do after Nova Open.
Go. Let's maybe. I think things have kind of like calm down a little bit, but there's a bunch of other like weird things happening out there in the interwebs.
Yeah, there is
with IPs and 3D printing and figures and figure paintings and everything. So yeah, we have to have a show. So oh boy, we're almost at an hour. It don't matter. So amongst the other thousands of other things that I look at and watch is real painters, 2D painters. And actually, Eric, did you see Eric's troll that he painted?
Well, I thought it was digital.
Was it? I thought he.
Yeah, I think it's digital.
Oh, I was like, holy crap!
It's still amazing.
Too. Yeah, I don't even want to read it or anything. I just look at it and glaze at it and say, holy crap, man! He can do 2D too. That's pretty freaking awesome. So
yeah, dude is super talented.
So I can't remember what the name of the program is, but it's an AI, and then you type in like a paragraph, and it generates a picture for you.
That's pretty cool.
So I was talking to my wife. So maybe that's a question that we could pose to some of our artists: is it really considered art if you are generating something, but you're putting words in, keywords, and the computer program is creating it for you. So most of the 2D artists and most of the 2E artists and the traditional artists that I have spoken to is like an emphatic no, it is not art. Um,
Right.
so
I can see. I can see that argument. I can't really see the other side of that. But anyways, that's for another time, right?
probably because I don't have the brain power to have that conversation right now,
Nah, it's
amongst
getting
other
late.
conversations.
It's
Ah,
getting late,
I
and
don't
this
know
is
what
a
time is
rant.
it. We haven't even been talking an hour. We're not even rambling. It's 10:45.
That's true.
Let's see. So what else is going on? Let's see, 3D printing, record collecting, not painting, getting things ready for Nova. Probably after Nova, we'll talk about the other thing that we'll be doing um, next year.
Right.
Oh, I did make. I got some. I printed off some new stickers.
Yes, you did. You got new stickers, and we'll have fresh stickers
We
at Reaper.
actually went through a whole bunch of stickers. Now I don't know if people just got handfuls of them somewhere and threw them away, but we got a new batch of them. So,
And Dan, guess what?
what?
After ReaperCon,
What?
our T-shirts are going to go live.
We have T-shirts.
Yep.
Huh. I was going to go down the street. There's a dude like across the street from our grocery store that does like embroidery kind of like stuff on hats and things. And I was like, oh, I should get a collared shirt with our thing on it.
Yeah, no, I went through. I have it all set up on Redbubble. I'll have to send you all the links and everything so you can see it.
Interesting.
Yep.
Oh, I have some ideas about that now. Okay,
And
we'll have
then,
to talk offline.
yeah, you should be able to get T-shirts and paint cups with a Listening to Paint Try logo on them.
Cool.
Also, the big project when I excuse me, the big project when I get back is going to be launching the website.
Oh,
because
okay.
I've got it all. I've got it all up in RS feed and everything. I'm just working on the aesthetics so I can send it to you to take a look at.
Oh,
But
okay.
I
That
have to.
looks like
I put that on the back burner for a couple of weeks because I want to get a focus on ReaperCon.
I totally get that. Totally get that. Well, that's kind of exciting news.
Yeah, it's only going to take me 2 years to do the fucking website, but
Yeah, that's all right. I painted one figure in the last since we had the show, so one figure, one website. We'll get
there we
there
go.
eventually.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Let's see. So yeah, anything else going on? Like hobby? No, we did hobby stuff. Work.
Oh,
stuff
I did.
sucks.
I did back a couple. Another. I backed a Kickstarter. The seasons. The 4 seasons one.
Oh, okay.
By Ember Miniatures that had the different females for the different seasons, and winter was a female cello player.
Oh yeah, that's a pretty cool one.
Yeah, and so my youngest daughter is a cellist, and I played cello in middle school, and so I was moved by that, so I purchased that one, and then I backed a couple other. I backed Bone 6, but I only bought 2 miniatures. And then I backed their base boss.
How did I not see the bones?
I told you about it.
You probably did.
I sent you the link to it. But
you did? Yeah, you sent me the link to the freaking Zencaster too, and I didn't get that.
That's true. That's a fair point. Fair point. So there was a lot of stuff I would have loved on Kickstarter since we've talked. Like there was a GI Joe one that looked awesome.
You did do that back that one, right?
No, I didn't back it.
You didn't? How am I supposed to? Oh, darn it! I thought you
I know
did.
how you're supposed to grab my Baroness and Scarlet models.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I'll just 3D print one.
Yeah, I'm sure they're out there.
I'm sure there are.
And then what else? Base boss I did, which is Reaper has a base. They do bases as well.
Oh, those are the bases. Yeah.
Yeah, and I liked some of the sizes of them. And so I ordered a few. I haven't spent very much money on a Kickstarter. I think between those two, I spent $30.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah.
I went on a binge. I don't know. I wasn't drinking. I probably should have. I started buying a whole bunch of 3D STLs for just stupid shit. And then when I was done, I was just like, I'm never gonna print that crap. And then I started, joining a bunch of Patreon sites. So I was like, holy crap. It's like, damn it, what am I doing? But I got some cool stuff. So
yeah. That's one
I'm
I
kind of
didn't tell
excited.
you about, or maybe I did. I bought an STL for Darth Revan,
I think
75
you
millimeter.
did. And that's the one you
Yeah,
wanted for your son.
yeah. My son wants it, and actually, since my daughters aren't around, I have somebody printing Princess Belle and Tiana to paint for my daughters. So I'm going to paint Darth Revan and the two princesses for my daughters for Christmas.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, it'll be fun. I already have their bases set up and everything. Obviously, that was easy. That only took me a couple hours to base all three of them. So, but yeah, man, it's so much going on. Um, of course, I backed the book, and I bought Chris Surhe's book. Um, and so I was hoping it would come in so I could give it to you to have him sign it because he might be at Nova. I don't know if he's going to the Nova or not, though. If he did, so hopefully he does, and you get to see. I'll be super jealous that you get to see his work in person. Do you have anything else, my friend?
I don't think I do. I'm trying to think if there is anything else that I need to say that I can say. No, I don't think so.
All right. Well, with that being said, we would love to hear from everybody. Drop us a line at listeningtopaintdry@gmail.com. I promise any of the past emails will all be answered right after ReaperCon. If I've missed them, I know I missed a couple, so I apologize to our fans. So please feel free to drop us an email and let us know how we're doing, stuff you'd like to see. And if you're going to the conventions or not, let us know, and we'll try to tell people where we are so that they can come meet us. And we'd love to
Yeah,
meet y'all.
you can't miss us unless like I'm hiding for some reason. But yeah, I think the Capitol Palette should be on one of the levels. You can't miss it. Ride the elevator and you'll run right into me.
Right. And then
Just know.
I theoretically, I don't know, I haven't been confirmed, but I hate saying this because it doesn't sound right to me. But theoretically, I'm supposed to have an artist table in Artist Alley. And so that's going to be really weird. We'll see if it happens though. I don't know. I'm one of the new kids on the block, so they have limited space, and
Oh, you're gonna have to put our stickers out there. I see. You should have taken more stickers.
I have plenty. I have plenty of. I still had some left from the last time. But Michael assures me that I should be getting a table. But if it happens, it happens. If not, I'm just gonna pile all my crap on Dev Sodergaard's table.
Yeah, you're gonna have to like take stuff to like work on.
Well, I have something very cool that Dev is bringing me.
Oh,
Yes, Deb is bringing me. He printed a mounted Vampire Hunter D model for me, which is
interesting.
awesome. The guy, I cannot think of the sculptor right now. Forgive me, but 3D art guy. 3D art guy is the sculptor, and yeah, it's just I can't wait to get my hands on it, and I'm gonna have to put it right away because I've got other projects that I got to get done. But that's one of those ones. And so I'm gonna try to paint it like the artwork, or some of the artwork, because I'm reading. I slowed down on it. I had burned through the first two books, and I'm actually reading the omnibus book one for Vampire Hunter D, because I don't know if a lot of people know. A lot of people know it from the movie, the anime movie that came out, and then the manga, but it actually started as a series of novels. And I have the first omnibus. That's the three novels, and then the new omnibus actually is going to be sitting on my doorstep when I get back from ReaperCon, because that's the date it comes out. So I'm pretty excited about that. So I got to I got the last book to read while I'm on the plane and stuff along those lines. But
cool.
yeah, so I'm excited about that. Yes. So wow, we got totally distracted from the. We'll start the outro again. We'll do it outro 2.0. Thank you so much to everybody for listening, and thank you for your patience for And hopefully you'll come back to us realizing that we are back on track and tan rested and ready to go with more episodes of the best damn painting podcast out there. Drop us a line at listeningtopaintdry@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. What are you working on? You going to the conventions? Let us know. We'd love to meet anybody who's actually had the perseverance to sit through an episode. So
yeah, you can also follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Listening to Paint Dry, or once again on Twitter at Dry Listening. And we do have a YouTube channel, and Mike's alluded that pretty soon we're going to try to do something live on there, or putting something else, which is titled Listening to Paint Dry with Mike and Dan. Please subscribe, follow us where you get your podcasts, and leave us a good review so that we can get more than 7 listeners.
So Dan, with that enthusiastic outro,
yeah,
look, it's never too late, man, to come back and try to be better, braver, happier painters. Until next time.
See you.
Listening to Paint Dry with Mike and Dan is a production of LTPTWMD. All rights reserved. No portion of this recording may be used without the express written consent of the host. The music is Death by a Thousand Questions by Springtide. Download from the Free Music Archive on a non-commercial attribution share-alike basis. All views and opinions expressed in the show are solely the views and opinions of the person who said them. All celebrity voices, if any, were impersonated and done so poorly.